Thank you for joining us for this month's National Economic Outlook, written by Local Market Monitors founder Ingo Winzer. Ingo is a graduate of MIT and Boston University, and he's not your typical economist. He has a knack for presenting complex facts in an easily understandable way. So, without further ado, I'll turn it over to Ingo.
Thank you very much, Julie. Every month, we look at the latest economic data to see what they can tell us about real estate markets, where they are now, and where they may be headed. You make better investments when you have a better idea of the economic forces that affect supply and demand. This month, we'll look at some new details of the national economy and some new pressures on real estate. Let's start with jobs, our best indicator of how the overall economy is doing. This chart shows the percent increase in jobs each month compared to the same month of the previous year. After a surge of rehiring to replace jobs lost during the pandemic, employment is growing at a slower and slower pace, just 1% in the past year. As we'll see shortly, even that low pace stems mainly from new jobs in the healthcare and government sectors, where there are recent dramatic developments. Why are jobs so important? Because the U.S. has a consumer economy. 3/4 of the gross domestic product is consumer spending. Without the creation of more jobs to feed that spending, the economy can't grow. One of the key drivers of job creation is the growth of the population. This chart shows the annual increase in the U.S. population since 2010, which is regularly less than 1%. There have recently been unusual changes. After years of steady growth, the rate began to decline after 2015, well before the pandemic, which pushed it to almost zero in 2021 when 1 million Americans died. Then came a rapid rebound that needs more explanation. This chart shows how much the U.S. population growth is due to natural increase, that is, more births than deaths, which is seen here in purple, and how much to immigration from abroad, seen in green. It's clear, first of all, that immigration is an important driver for the economy, as the natural increase of population has slowed dramatically. Without immigration, the U.S. economy would stagnate, as has happened in many other countries. Second, the large increase in immigration in the last couple of years, whether due to delayed plans because of the pandemic or recent international pressures, probably will not last, and that in turn will have a negative effect on the economy in the next few years. Now let's look at the job situation in the different sectors of the economy to see where we can expect new jobs to come from. Manufacturing accounts for less than 10% of all jobs in the U.S. and continues to shrink despite government efforts. The construction industry provides about 5% of jobs and seems to be at a turning point with a sharp downward trend since the start of the year. Slower construction is evident even in that segment that had been booming, the construction of non-residential buildings like schools, warehouses, and data centers. But it's most evident in home construction, where contractors are being laid off. The small finance sector is creating jobs, but at a low 1% rate. The retail sector accounts for 10% of U.S. jobs, but isn't creating any new ones. And in the restaurant sector, the surge of rehiring following the pandemic is now complete, and we can expect future increases at the usual 1% rate. Now we get to the three largest sectors of the economy. Business services is usually a marker of actual business activity because it supplies the services that all other businesses need in order to function, like lawyers, accountants, receptionists, programmers, and cleaning services. This sector has been losing jobs for the past 2 years. Healthcare is the only sector of the economy that has produced a lot of new jobs in recent years. but it seems highly likely that this growth won't continue much longer, as there has been a slow but steady downward trend. One reason is that nursing homes, which were hit hard during the pandemic, are near the end of their own rehiring process. One other reason is a dramatic decline in hiring in home health care in just the last few months. The only reason I can think of is that this is because these jobs pay very little, and many of them are filled by immigrants, legal or otherwise, whose hiring is being squeezed by new government policies. A situation similar to healthcare exists in the big government sector, where the trend in the last year has been steadily downward. This is largely the result of state governments having refilled positions lost during the pandemic, many of them at public colleges. But also because of the recent chainsawing of jobs at the federal level. I don't know if these figures include all the jobs that are meant to be eliminated, because many have been challenged in court. But however that turns out, the government sector will not be a source of much job growth this year. This brings us to the question of what effect a slowing economy will have on real estate. This chart shows the cost of energy, which affects the cost of most other goods. It's high, and the green bar on the right shows that future markets expect it to remain high. Partly due to that, interest rates remain high, even though current inflation is down around 2%. All of this leads to our final chart, which shows the change in home prices every quarter compared to the same quarter of the previous year. Even though homes are overpriced in most local markets, potential sellers have so far resisted cutting prices. But the combination of high interest rates, which lock most potential buyers out of the market, with a slowing economy that puts more financial pressures on sellers, is likely to start a cascade of lower prices in many local markets in the next year. I've been saying this for a while, and it hasn't happened so far, but the pressures are building up. That's it. In this time of uncertainty, it's important for bankers and investors to stay on top of local economic and real estate developments. Local Market Monitor provides the data and analysis they need with local market reports and investors' metro analysis. Thanks very much for following along. This is our National Economic Outlook. I'm Ingo Windsor.